Every offseason, there are teams that make a statement. This offseason, I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are the team to watch. In this video, I'm going to break down why I believe the Eagles are that NFL team to watch this offseason with what they do in free agency, with what they do in the draft, to make a statement about where they're at with their franchise in a 2022 landscape across the NFL where the NFC, it's quite weak, and there is definitely opportunity for a team like Philadelphia to make a rise. Before I get to why the Eagles will dominate the 2022 NFL offseason, don't forget to spike that like button and subscribe to the channel for more BLV just like this. Also, get in that comment section and let me know if I'm right. Are the Eagles the team to watch this offseason, or is there another team that you believe is more intriguing or interesting this free agency and this NFL draft season? I view the Philadelphia Eagles as the team of this offseason. Why? Well, they shockingly made the playoffs in 2021. Nobody really saw that coming. The Eagles went on a run. They became that 7th seed in the NFC, and even though they got destroyed in the playoffs, they at least give a little bit, just a glimpse of their potential for the future with this franchise, with this new coaching regime, and with this potential quarterback in Jalen Hurts. The Eagles are set up really well this offseason to do some damage, to upgrade their roster, and to actually make a run in a weaker NFC. I do view the NFC as a much weaker conference in 2022 than the AFC. The AFC, you're going to have a bunch of teams that are going to be making a run this offseason. They're going to be signing free agents. They're going to be trading for players. But in the NFC, the team is the Eagles to watch because a lot of these NFC teams are rebuilding. They're in rebuilding mode. They don't quite have that quarterback that they trust. They're not in a situation where they deem it to be one where they can go all in. The Eagles, though, even though there is a question mark with Philadelphia about Jalen Hurts being their quarterback, they have expressed confidence in Jalen Hurts being their quarterback. There have been rumors about the Eagles potentially making a bigger move for a quarterback, potentially a Russell Wilson or a Deshaun Watson. I would not rule that out, but you look at the Eagles, the $20 million of cap space, which is slightly above average, 3 first-round picks, multiple late round picks, and a roster that already has a pretty strong foundation. And I feel like the Eagles could be that wild card team from a year ago that if they play their cards correctly, they could maximize this team and take advantage of a weak conference in 2022 and put themselves in a great position for the future. Just think about it. The NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys, well, they're the Cowboys. They're probably going to be favored in the NFC East. They do have the best quarterback in the NFC East. They probably will have the best overall roster in the NFC East. But the Eagles aren't too far off from giving the Cowboys a run for their money in this division. On top of that, the Giants have a new regime, and Washington just changed their name again. The NFC as a whole is completely wide open. The Packers might lose Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers, well, they might have Trey Lance. The Rams certainly won't be better. They're going to lose players to free agency, and it's just generally very hard to repeat. And of course, the Cowboys. Who else is there really in the NFC? The Bucs don't have Tom Brady anymore. You don't have to worry about getting your butt kicked by Tom Brady in the playoffs. The Eagles are that mid-tier team from a year ago that could actually move up. The Saints lost Sean Payton. The Vikings have a new coach, but hey, if they have Kirk Cousins, maybe they compete for a playoff spot, but they're certainly not a Super Bowl contender. The Detroit Lions are rebuilding. The Chicago Bears, they have a new coach and the second year of Justin Fields. They could be a wild card type of team. Then you have the NFC West. The Seahawks might lose Russell Wilson. There's friction with Kyler Murray in Arizona. The NFC South is a complete debacle. The Atlanta Falcons don't know what they are. They don't know how long Matt Ryan's going to be there, and who knows if Matt Ryan's still going to be the same quality player. The Carolina Panthers. I don't trust Matt Rule. They don't have a quarterback. So really, you look at this conference and you just feel like the Eagles are that one team that with all these pieces and all this ammunition that they do have for this offseason to make a play. Specifically the 3 first-round picks, where they could maneuver these picks to rather gather some great talents throughout the draft, young talents at different positions of need to surround their team and just build this young nucleus of players, or they could use these assets to trade for big-time playmakers at positions of need. Maybe a corner, maybe a wide receiver, maybe a player up front on the defensive line, or potentially a big superstar quarterback. They could use all of these picks for different purposes to build this team. We've seen Howie Roseman be very aggressive in the past. This is a guy that really took an average roster from the first season with Carson Wentz. In the second season with Carson Wentz, he went all in on Wentz and this team, and he really pieced together an epic free agency and an epic offseason that saw the Eagles run their way to the Super Bowl and ultimately win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles at quarterback. This is a general manager. This is an organization that has a history of being aggressive, has a history of going for it, has a history of putting the right pieces in place, understanding how to build a team. And what I already like about it, just like in 2016, they have that strong foundation. The offensive line is extremely strong, and it's very underrated. They're going to get Brandon Brooks back. Jason Kelce's likely to talk himself back into one more season. Lane Johnson, the same thing, I feel is going to be there, at least for one more year. You already got the left tackle position locked down. Dallas Goedert is really evolving into one of the best tight ends in football. Miles Sanders is super underrated at running back. And Devontae Smith is a number one wide receiver entering his second year who will only be better. Now, are there positions where you could upgrade offensively? Certainly. You could get a number two receiver. You could get another number one type of receiver, maybe through free agency, and spend that type of money to make sure you've got a guy that can play right now. Or you can go young and pair him up with Devontae Smith for years to come, for at least the next 4 to 5 years. But offensively, you have a strong core of players that maybe you're looking to get younger here and there, but overall, it is really nice to pair with Jalen Hurts in his second season as a full-time starter, and you have now an identity entering this next year. Where before, in 2021, you were figuring out what you were going to be. You didn't figure out that you were a run-first team, that you were a run-heavy team until about midway through the season, and then you finally took advantage of that. So maybe bringing in another running back through free agency might not be a bad idea to complement Miles Sanders. There are a lot of things that they can do offensively to maximize Jalen Hurts and this approach and this offense. Just adding more plays to the overall offense, more concepts through the passing game to open up shots down the field. Am I the most confident that Jalen Hurts is going to be a superstar? I certainly am not. I think he has a long way to go as a pocket passer, but utilizing him through his skill set of an athletic quarterback who can run, who can move, who can buy time, who can be amazing in the scramble drill, and has his moments of being a pretty good playmaker down the field, you can certainly make things happen if you're not going to go for that bigger name at the quarterback position, which if you did, I mean, a guy like Russell Wilson would be perfect for that vision of that type of offense. Maybe you do less in terms of the quarterback runs, but more in terms of the big shots down the field. I think with what Jalen Hurts was able to do last year, taking this team to a winning record, taking this team to the playoffs, I believe that the Eagles are going to go all in on him for this year. If he really has it, let's place all of these assets in the middle of the table. Let's build a roster around him and see what we can do. We can always move on from him. He has a cheap contract next year, the year after. That's perfectly fine. But for now, let's build that roster so that when we do get the quarterback, if it isn't Jalen Hurts, if it is great, fantastic, we are here. If not, then we only need that quarterback. We're one step away from being a big-time great team in this league. But Jalen Hurts, you gamble on him. Maybe he breaks out in his third season, which is really his second season as a full-time starter. Defensively is really where the Eagles need some work, and they certainly can get some things done with 3 first-round picks or the money through free agency. Maybe you look towards money through free agency on offense to secure yourself another wide receiver, and maybe you look to the defensive side for some draft picks to influence some young talent into the defensive line, where definitely you need to look to replace Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox down the road. But Javon Hargrave has really developed into an absolute stud. I think you have multiple underrated assets on the D-line, as you always do. And Howie Roseman has been known to create line changes of sorts of defensive linemen that can come in and can play. And he's really good at finding that veteran who can come in and play that extra third man off the edge, the third defensive tackle. All those things are very crucial to what the Eagles are going to be doing. I definitely need to see a tweak with the defensive scheme, but nothing's really going to happen if you don't upgrade the second and the third level. The safeties, both free agents. Corners, Steven Nelson, definitely a free agent, but Darius Slay is there and had his best season as an Eagle last year, and you've got a secondary that you can really build from scratch with the money to do so, with the picks to do so, with the assets to put forth. And then you also have a linebacker level that hasn't been good for years, that you could just get one player. It's a really good crop, actually, of linebackers through free agency, where you find that one underrated gem just to give you that little bit of an upgrade, and that would be a nice addition for this defense. Overall, though, Philadelphia has a really strong foundation of playmakers that maybe some of them are a little bit older, but can still play on the offensive and defensive lines. They've got a couple assets in the secondary and at the wide receiver position on the perimeter to make plays. And they've got a quarterback that's definitely a gamer that I feel is growing. And if they go in a different direction, they have the assets to get that big time playmaker at quarterback if they want to go that route. So there's so many different things that the Eagles can do. They have so many options, and that's why they're the real playmaker to watch this offseason, because they have so many avenues, so many roads that they can travel. They can try to go heavy on the offense and surround Jalen Hurts. They could try to build their defense back up from scratch. They can do so much with the second year in this coaching regime and this new regime of Philadelphia, where you really try to make that push with a quarterback potentially on a lower end contract. This is something that they have been A+ in the past, and something that they can try to replicate this offseason. The Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl odds are 41-1. And honestly, they're not a bad long shot to look at here. The Eagles might end up being that team through one offseason that makes a dramatic jump. Because last year, I was actually very surprisingly impressed with the offense and how it grew under Nick Sirianni. I was impressed with Jalen Hurts' ability to run the football, certainly, which is a dynamic element to this team. If they can improve defensively, if they can add some talent on the perimeter on both sides of the football, and if they have things fall the right way in the NFC, they can be a scary underdog type of team the way they were in 2017 and take everybody by surprise. This is a franchise that is in the right place to make a major move this offseason. I think that they have all the pieces to be able to do so. It's just about the execution. Look out for the Philadelphia Eagles to be a big player this offseason, and look for them to be that NFC team that sees the window and sees the door open to make a splash. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Mitch. Don't forget to subscribe for more BLV just like this, and let me know what type of moves you think the Eagles are going to make, and which road will they travel this offseason. Are they that team to watch out for? Gronk, spike the like button and subscribe for more. Peace.